everyone, welcome back. Unfortunately, Mike is missing. I locked him up somewhere. Okay, I'm just kidding. Well, Mike is not here with me, but I've got some special guests with me. And I saw a clip of a stage play by them, and I'm like, a lot of playwrights will be grateful to the Thespian Family Theatre for bringing life to their plays. Not just bringing life to plays, but making it grand. It's only Thespian Family Theatre that can do that. And I've got the CEO of Thespian Family Theatre, Mrs. Ayodele Jaiyesimi, and we've got Olarotimi and Israel in the house. He's a cast of Midnight Hotel and The Gods Are Not to Blame. Then we've got a director here, Mr. Israel here. So you guys are welcome to the show. You just had a concluded production of Wizard of Law. So just tell us something about it. A lot of people, maybe some people didn't watch it, so they would like to know about it. So what do I do that to?
I'd start that.
All right.
The Wizard of Law is one of the plays that we had lined up for 2015. And we deliberately chose our plays. We have as our vision, our mission, of whichever one it is, the aim of touching community, through stage performances. And therefore, when we choose our plays, we choose something that, whether subtly or overtly, it will kind of leave a message.
All right, just hold on a bit. Before we continue with the interview, we'll just go on a very, very short break. We'll be back in a bit. Don't move a muscle, just sit there.
Election, they're very important.
But it go come.
And it go.
Nigeria go take it back.
Make we no fight for election.
Because now all of us go so para.
Election na do. No be die matter.
Vote, not fight.
Election no be war.
My name is Femi Anikula Kukuti. This is just to tell you, beg you, plead with you, don't let anybody lure you into being violent. It's very important for us to have a peaceful elections. We need to think about the future of this country, of our children. We can be a great nation. And the first step is desist from being violent. Let's have a peaceful elections.
But we don't want nobody to come scatter ground for here. Vote not fight, that's what we want in this year. In this election time, we want a peaceful atmosphere. Because when 12 and fight, now the grass, they suffer. Vote not fight, election no be war.
All right, we're talking about the Wizard of Law production before we went on the short break. We just wanted you to go get a glass of coffee or something so you enjoy the interview better. It's not an interview, it's a discussion, so carry on, ma'am.
All right, so we have, most of our plays have a community undertone, woven into it. So we chose The Wizard of Law as one of our plays because it's a tremendously hilarious play, but at the same time, it mirrors a bit of the society. And essentially it was about a lawyer who had once experienced good fortunes, now had a downturn and was trying to kind of like keep up with the Joneses. And then, he tried to use a cunning way to make some money on the person who he was trying to kind of like outsmarted him. He tried to help another person who also had outsmarted him, and that's what the society really is. Yeah. Everybody seems to be kind of like cutting corners to do stuff. And we're saying that even through the comedy of it, that probably we should also look at ourselves and stick to our values, because what goes around comes around. So that's what The Wizard of Law was really about.
Awesome, thank you. As a director, The Wizard of Law is about, well, a little political undertone. So how are you able to just shut it down completely? Because Nigeria nowadays, when you do something, when you say the truth in a certain way, you get into trouble. So how are you able to tone it down completely and just bring out the comedy?
Really, I didn't direct
Okay, you did not
Wizard of
direct it.
Law.
Oh,
Yeah,
but if you were directing a Wizard of Law, or if you directed...
most times, as a director, when you are confronted by political issues, especially at a time as tense as we are in, what you need to look at or ask yourself first is, how do I want to convey this message that at the end of the day, you will not be seen to be confronting the authorities as they were, and for the neutrals, you will not be accused of taking sides. So most of the time, you need to look at the society and you ask yourself, what are the things that seem to occupy them politically? So you take it from that angle, because these things are already things that are before the public and they are being discussed by everyone. What you do basically is you are reinforcing and you are making them to ask questions without being taken as sides or making suggestions to them as to what's to be done. So you try to raise their level of consciousness, the way you put the questions across. And even for Wizard of Law, I do know that that was one of the things that the director tried to do. And of course, in the play we're working on presently, which is Midnight Hotel, which is more direct, because the play was set when it was written in the eve of transition from one election, one government to another, preparing for an election, and basically that's the stage we are in. So, and for the very first time in a very long time in Nigeria, I think this is the campaign, the transition that has occupied more people more. It has gotten more people involved. People have taken more sides. Some families have been polarized because they are standing on both sides. So it was a challenge. And I do recall that at one of our first meetings, we said, look, what we're doing here is a social commentary. We are not politicians, we are artists. And as artists, we are only relevant when we are the conscience of the people. So what basically we want to do with this play is to raise a level of consciousness that will make people, those who will be coming to see the play, those who will read about it, to make them ask themselves certain questions. That all of the time, what are the things that inform our choice of who to vote for? Is it based on their programs, or because they are from our ethnic area? Or is it because they are friends, or because we just seem to love them? That for us, it must go beyond that, because each time we vote, we are deciding our future for the next 4 years, or at times even for the next 8 years. So you must always say, look, I'm taking a decision that I know that will add some value to my life. And for us, that is the key thing.
All right, thank you very much. Olarotimi, you participated in the Wizard of Law?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Midnight Hotel.
Okay, but I heard about it, and it was, let me use the word remix. It was a remix of the original Wizard of Law. There were a lot of modern things infused into it, the music, the advertisement, marketing, where you advertise a little bit of Jumia. Were they sponsors, Jumia? Okay, you just decided to just do something that people were popular. But just imagine yourself in such a production. Does it feel different from doing the original script, the way it is in the book? Okay, you have to do it this way. Is it better in your own terms? Or
we are at the age where we need to update whatever we do. Doing it in the original version takes nothing from doing it in the updated version. For me, it's just because we have more electronic conscious people. The young people we have now are more into a lot of things that the script did not have when it was written. So I think director chose his own creative ingenuity to make sure that the play can be identified with the people of that time and the people of this generation. And for me, I think it was awesome. It
was awesome. So it's
awesome.
Cool, no problem. So maybe if there was a little bit of Michael Jackson right about now, there was some Michael Jackson. And so today's World Theatre Day, and a particular director, a Polish director says, I will quote him, he says, the true masters of theatre are most easily found far from the stage. He must have his reasons for that. But the whole world is a theatre. There's always is a stage. There's always something to pick out from there and put in a production to teach people new stuff. So what do you think about that? You think, okay, the real actors, the real action is happening outside the stage. I thought the theatre was supposed to present it, not just as it is, but exaggerate it and make it grand. But he's saying that the true masters of theatre are outside the theatre.
Okay, my view of that, I think it's very true. And I'll start by giving you a little bit about my background. I actually am a chartered accountant and an HR professional. I mean, well, now I'm sure that Israel and...
Wow.
I'm sure you accept me as a theatre practitioner now.
Yes.
You know, so you do have a lot of people who out there actually appreciate stage performances, theatre. We understand the potential that we have in our people. We see, I mean, say what you want about Nollywood, but truth of the matter is that they've done us, they've taken us to the forefront. Yeah. And when we're talking about our economy, there's a lot, of potential from the entertainment industry that goes into it. So I do think that a lot of the people outside the stage actually see the potential better. And then we also see, and probably that's where we also lie for Thespian Family Theatre, that if we're talking about social reorientation, if we're talking about leadership, if we're talking about change, if we're talking about transformation, if we're talking about, bringing up the next generation of Nigerians, it's not just about sitting down and mooning. It's actually doing something on whatever platform you have. And for us, we think that the stage is a very powerful platform, that could be used to mold people. So I think that comment is apt when you look at it from that perspective, that other people are actually seeing how powerful,
the theatre is.
The performance arts is. I mean, I see too, because we're grooming a troupe, and our aim is to say that in the 2-3 years when they actually get into limelight, when people are saying, okay, this is my role model, and all the young people now, they just see someone and they're like, wow, she's gorgeous, and they want to be like that person. But you really don't know whether that person's a junkie, you don't know whether that person can manage his finances, you don't know whether he has anything to show for it. And this is Nigeria. Whether you're a theatre artist, whether you're an accountant, we all have something to contribute, and we have to do it very well. So we're also trying to see how this talent can be groomed, so that when they actually become stars, and they're role modeling, people who don't even know them, it will be substance. So I do agree with what he said.
Okay, contrary to what Christophe Warin-Chosi said, the director, I think that the theatre is like a harvest ground for talent, for everything you need. But it's from outside to inside, and it's supposed to be inside from a theatre. Outside, you export to Nollywood, you export to the music scene, you export. So what do you think about that difference?
Really, there is not that much of a difference. I think it's the way we have tried to separate them here that has created the problem. Because normally what should be, the theatre is normally the training ground, because it creates more rounded artists. The training is more rigorous, the discipline is more rigorous. Unlike television, for example, or the film, where you have the opportunity of doing these things piecemeal, and then it's assembled, so you are allowed to make so much mistakes. And there is this tendency for you to just take it for granted and say, look, I can make as much mistakes as I want. I know that I can do a retake, and then it will be assembled. In theatre, you are expected to perfect it. So the training most times evolves from the stage. The movement from live performance at a stage in Nigeria to film was, one, economic issues, two, issues of security. That was also the period when most of the cinemas folded up, and so Nollywood came to the rescue. People could watch. And somehow Nigerians forgot the other side. And it created its own generation of artists who were not grounded and all that. But you'll see that in the last 5 years, there seemed to be better synergy. Suddenly, even those who had practically all their professional life had been on television, on film, they're trying to do something on stage. So finally, we are beginning to see the synergy that ought to exist between the live performance and the celluloid or television. So generally now what we have is a complement of the three aspects of performance, even including a radio. At some point in time, radio drama was almost non-existent, and so we really didn't have practitioners in that field. But now it's coming back. And what that does is, for the practitioner, he has more options. He has more levels of performances, more levels of income. And for the industry, it is better because we are having more professionals. If you look at the products of Nollywood, in the last 2-3 years, we all agree that the quality is higher, not only in the technical aspect, but even in the performance aspect. And that is really the key which makes the industry grow. We at some point, we had gotten to a point that, yes, the money was coming, but the industry was not growing. But today, we can say the industry is growing, and it's become an industry. Live theater is growing. There are more live performances. We now have more investors. We have more executive producers. Gone are the days when it was the director producer, you run around because you're the practitioner, you try to raise funds and then you put on something. Now we have executive producers, people who have passion, people like Mrs. Jaiyesimi, who have a passion for theater and who want to also develop it. But that can only happen because they recognize the fact that the talents, the materials were there. So they have now given the fillip which makes the industry to grow. And that's what we have.
Thank you very much. He talked about discipline. You're an actor now, so you look at Nollywood nowadays, you hear different stories behind the scene, this is happening, that's happening. Do you think that with the discipline in the theater, there's a lot of discipline hierarchy, it's like a military camp in the theater. So
it's not like it is.
It is a military camp. I'm a thespian anyway. I was hiding my. But it's like a military camp, and a lot of actors nowadays, screen actors, they don't come from theater background, so you get to see different attitudes, different things outside the screen. Do you think most actors, screen actors, or any other artists would do better if they come from the theater? What's your own take on that?
First and foremost, I think that the training that the theater gives you goes beyond performance. It is a life training. It is the same training that the army gives you. Because first and foremost, our people used to say charity begins at home. Therefore, if you're properly trained, you know how to behave outside, which is what I think the Thespian family is trying to bring back.
Popular for.
You understand?
I heard about it. Popular for.
However, I do think that if you are trained in the theater, there is no way you will be in discipline. Because for a long time, I refused to do television. Unfortunately, like you said, that's where the money is.
True.
So, and we used to sit back those days to criticize them and say that. But the truth is, that's where the money is. And sometimes you cannot change from the outside. You've got to be a part of something to be able to change, to at least influence. And I've been involved in television for 2-3 years, and I can tell you now that a lot of the actors I have worked with are disciplined, and if they have not been, I believe that they're learning it. And the profession itself is growing, and if you do not have discipline, I think you have a problem. And then at the end of the day, nobody gives you jobs, you become broke, and you resort to other things. So for me, stage it is. Always, it has always been, and it always will be. However, there are gate crashers who started from TV and are coming back to do stage. It doesn't mean that they lack the discipline. What I always tell people is take time to learn, take time to observe, and just try to blend in. And eventually, if you do that, I think that you will make a successful career out of it.
Oh, career, awesome. Recently, I heard that they're adding drama to the curriculum of school children, primary school children. So what's Thespian Family Theatre doing to support that move?
We have a junior theatre.
Okay.
And we had thought about it that, especially if you listen to children these days.
They're very smart, sharp.
Very sharp children. But on the other hand, also, you also see a dearth of, in terms of grammar, in terms of like literary appreciation and all that. So we have a junior theatre that we're working hand in hand with a few schools, and eventually we'll, unfold what our total programs are, to kind of like try and see what we can do, to improve on the literary skills of children. We were involved in 1 or 2 book reading, fairs. Last year when we did the trials of Brother Jiro, we also read it. And, we were just excited that the children could identify with the story, because it's a storybook that they're using for their exams. So we're doing a few more projects like that, which will also support that initiative.
All right. Well, we have a little surprise for you, having monologue by a thespian.
Oh,
the man that read sports, remember? Very solemn.
Yeah.
Well, the peace samurai is going to give us a monologue. Let me change my seat where I'm sitting right now. So I don't know where he's going to spring out from, but he's going. Okay. So. Wow.
Next account is mine to narrate. And everybody partook of the sacrament. Shango, the matter that fills all space, was the wine master. Ogun, the matter that fills all space, was the wine master. Shango, the source of all electricity, drank his fill. Even Orunmila, the father of knowledge, knew his measure and never falter with his treasure of wisdom. And I emptied my calabash on the dregs of all other gods, because I am Odara, otherwise called Eshu, by those who hate me. But you see, even I expected Obatala's pleasure of wine to be even. All of creation was perfect. Every man was handsome, every woman beautiful, and every child was good. But I found life particularly very boring. And then, Obatala loved the taste of wine. The god could not stop drinking. Obatala became intoxicated by wine. And calamity broke loose. And I, Eshu, I am a carnivore.
Wow. That's just energetic. Thank you so very much, Mr. Day. That's a peace samurai. But he's not looking so peaceful right now. He's full of action and all that. And let me get back to my seat. The performance. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
That was good.
That was awesome.
Good. Yes.
Awesome.
At least he did exhibit what you expect in performance, and that's basically transition. Understanding. Most times, the problem we have with a lot of people, especially the untrained ones, is to deliver on a monotone, and drama basically is about emotions. You try to awaken emotions in people or try to play on certain emotions, and what you do with that, especially in stage performance, because naturally a lot of the action is exaggerated, so it's more on the voice. That's where you are able to draw your audience towards you, and that was what he was able to achieve.
Thank you
said,
so much.
It's like he's just auditioning for me.
So you got an actor already. So, okay, just one last one. From everybody's point of view, tell us what to expect. Wizard of Law? Pardon me, Midnight Hotel. Midnight Hotel. I've read the synopsis of the book, and I'm like, I can't wait to watch it. So, who everybody was. Want to know what's new, what's special, what's so spectacular about it? Should we expect something like the Wizard of Law or better?
Okay, we have a lineup of a lot of things this year. A few of them being like we've done the Wizard of Law already. We have the Midnight Hotel that's coming up on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of April at the Museum Centre. We also we're taking The Gods Are Not to Blame. We're taking it to the UK.
Again.
And I'm very excited about that. So we'll be having that on the 26th of April through to the 30th of April at the Lost Theatre in the UK.
All right, those of you in UK, watch out.
So
it's coming to you. Gods Are Not to Blame.
So, well, we do have other things, but those are the two immediate things that are, And in December, we have The King Must Dance Naked. I'm really excited.
King Must Dance Naked.
Yes.
The title is already revealing. All right, so anything?
I'll talk about Midnight Hotel as a director. I know that some people have seen Midnight Hotel in the past, but I want to assure them that they will be having a new experience of what Midnight Hotel is. It's more contemporary, and for the first time we are presenting a musical version of Midnight Hotel, which is also going to have the fusion of technology. And of course, at the time that we're talking about trying to move Nigeria forward, I think it's something that everyone should see. But above all, is that we're going to whoever comes to see it will not forget it as a nice theater experience.
All right, as an actor.
Okay. It's not quite often you
Wearing
get
both
to be
caps.
fortunate to be in The Gods Are Not to Blame and Midnight Hotel. So for me, these two productions are extremely different from what you've ever seen before. Midnight Hotel, for me, I've read it as a playtext. I've seen performances. This is the first time I'm going to be a part of the cast, but it's nothing like I've ever seen. Definitely, I'm looking forward to it as a performer in this cast and in this production. And for The Gods Are Not to Blame,
Breathtaking.
I think that says it all.
Thank you
I
so
cannot
very
wait
much.
to,
All right.
to get on plane to go and do the performance.
Awesome.
To go and meet the amazing cast that we have waiting for us. Awesome. It's going to be a great show, and this is going to be an awesome show back here, too.
Thank you so very much for being on the show. The CEO, boss lady, Oga at the top of the FM Family Theatre, the director, and a member of the cast. And this is still not, RTTV Breakfast Show we're leaving. Because to have a dramatic, eventful weekend. Definitely it's going to be eventful tomorrow's election. So vote wisely, stay safe, be good. When you vote, go to your house and rest. Don't get into trouble and get arrested, all right? Have a wonderful weekend. And from us in the studio, we're going to say a dramatic goodbye. So, director, just directors now, tell her what to do.
Please, director.
Okay.
Are you ready?
2, 3.
Happy World Theatre Day.
Happy World
Happy World
Theatre
Theatre Day.
Yeah, happy work.
See you on Monday.